All right, so the police tactics and the Bollinger tactics are exactly the same. They're exactly the same tactics that a player uses, whatever it takes to keep people from communicating. All of the attacks on my Facebook, people who claimed that everything that I was posting on Facebook was spam, that cut me off from being able to talk to my loved ones. And I got frustrated, and I'm a bad person because I get frustrated. Meanwhile, it's the mass quantity of it. All of these people that I recorded, every single one of them should have written it down. Now, they want to pretend like those things never happened. When Ken and Leah decided to go to war with me, they didn't do it themselves. They had people like Blaine McCrelius do it. Now, Blaine did the same thing as these web wingnuts. He didn't show Miss Peaches any of the videos where I talked about all of the good things that she did, or the good things that she said that she would do and just never followed through with. The only thing that he showed her was stuff that he thought would get her to hate me. And he did a great fucking job. But he also threatened my life repeatedly. Now, James Golden, on the post that Blaine McCrelius was threatening me on, James Golden stopped being my friend over that. He blocked me. Well, I didn't have very nice things to say to Blaine, and Blaine was erasing everything that he was typing right after I responded. The same exact thing that Ted Bollinger was doing. The thing is, this is gang stalking. What Ted Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger did, the police here in Chapel, Nebraska should have done something about, because it wasn't just slander. It was slander resulting in physical harm to me. But that's not their job, is it? Especially when they've done wrong and they know that they did wrong. They literally abused their power, just like the police in Rawlins, Wyoming did, just like the police in Boulder, Colorado did. They abused their power to hide their own wrongdoing, just like Jamie did. Jamie's a player. That's what she does. She manipulates people in order to get what she wants. And then she pretends like she did it all herself. I've helped Jamie enough to know that she did not do it all herself. But then she has friends and I don't. Her friends are willing to slander me for her. And you know what? That makes them all criminals. But it's not just slander. When it's slander resulting in physical harm, it's a major issue that needs to be taken care of. And the police, at every step of the way, should have taken a fucking police report. But did they? Did they even try? No, it was just assumed that I was guilty. And the only stuff that they wrote down was the stuff that they thought would, well, that they could twist and manipulate to make me look guilty, to alleviate themselves of their own wrongdoing. I made a video just a few minutes ago where I recorded Ray Ray. The things that I had to say about Amy Spencer are true. Obviously, if you watch the video, you realize that. The place that I'm staying in now, I'm upstairs. There's no heat here. So I'm cold as fuck. My fingers are half frozen. But that doesn't mean that I'm ungrateful for it. Do you know where I'd be if I wasn't under this roof? I'd be out in the cold. Where would my evidence be? I'd have to carry it around with me everywhere that I go, and I can't do that. I can't physically drag around all of this evidence that nobody will fucking look at. People victimized the fuck out of me because of my disabilities, and they got away with it because nobody was actually in my corner. There's a lot of places that I went for help, but those people couldn't help me because they couldn't stay sober. And I have to understand that. I have to be understanding of them, but they're not understanding of me. One of the meanest things that people can type to me or say to me is, "You're living in the past." No, I'm not. I am living in the present. In the present, there are consequences for what happened in the past. So I'm not living in the past. I am living the consequences of not being allowed to defend myself. I am living the consequences of Miss Peaches not coming forward. I am living the consequences of Ray Ray not coming forward. But it's not entirely their fault either, because of the things that were done to prevent me from communicating with those people. The harassment on Facebook, the constant bombardment, the threats against my life, the assaults, being incarcerated because they pushed me to the point of suicide. Is it a smart idea for me to go to Wyoming and see Ray Ray? Well, first of all, I'm not allowed to talk to her. Her testimony would have helped me to get an honest day in court, but they weren't going to allow me to have my computer full of evidence that those police officers did wrong. Now, when it comes to Amy Kalina Kingery, yeah, that conversation with Ray Ray verifies that, yeah, Amy is still in trouble for methamphetamines. She still can't get off of the meth. And she stole somebody else's tattoo equipment, not just mine. She verified there that the information that they claimed in court was untrue. They claimed that I broke something there. They want me to pay $1,400 because of that. In order to get my computer back, I had to let them have whatever they wanted. And I let that lawyer know repeatedly that he needed to do his job and he wasn't doing his job. But I had to pretend that he was in court in order to get my computer back. I had to break the law just a few minutes ago. By answering the phone when Ray Ray called, I broke the law. I broke a protection order that shouldn't have even existed. But I recorded the shit out of it now, didn't I? I recorded the things that Rihanna should have said, the things that she should have said in court. But the thing is that these people all work together. The police work closely with the hospitals, they work closely with the public pretenders. We're not talking about an actual lawyer, we're talking about a public pretender. Brandon Ratner did me one hell of a service by giving me a ride all the way there and all the way back here to Chapel, Nebraska. I could not afford to go back to court again. I had to plead guilty to a crime I didn't commit because I could not afford an honest court date. There are no services in Rawlins, Wyoming, and Rihanna verified that too. There are no services there. The police in Rawlins, Wyoming tried to kill me with exposure, the very same thing that Selena Not Afraid died of. Exposure to the elements. Yes, police tried to do that to me. But it's fine because you call me mentally ill. It's fine because of the outcome of court dates I was prevented from going to. Meanwhile, Miss Peaches is pissed off, and I'm fine with that. But also, her and Tabitha had a conversation, and Tabitha outright lied to Miss Peaches. Can I prove that? Yeah, I recorded Tabby. If these people actually cared about me, they would have written those things down. They would have gone in with me to speak to a police officer. Now, in that recording with Ray Ray, she verifies that I was trying to get Miss Shelley safe, which I've been saying for 2 years, and people say, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar. No, I'm fucking not. I lied when I said I would kill the president. I did that to try to force an outside agency to take a look because nobody would go in with me. Meanwhile, the evidence that I need in order to prove what the police said, I need a lawyer to get it. There's a guy that I was in jail with. His name was Jacob Mann, and he can verify the things that happened in the Arapahoe County Jail. He remembers those things. I have his phone number. The whole time I was there, I was trying to get a police officer to take my fucking report about the abuse. But because police took part in abusing me, they wouldn't do a goddamn thing. Ted Bollinger got away with the things that he did because police were too busy covering up their own wrongdoing to do their fucking jobs. Same as the police in Rawlins, Wyoming. People say, where's your evidence? And that's not people who have gone through my channel and looked at everything and listened to everything. This is people who hate me, and all they're interested in doing is making me look like the bad guy. All they're interested in doing is harassing me. They know that that evidence is there. There's a lot of people that are like, well, where's this evidence? Where's this evidence? How many times do I have to post it? That's what I want to know. Living in the past? No, I'm not living in the past. I am living the consequences of brutal police abuse, abuse of power. Across the United States, this happens. Police are not taught to protect and serve. Not you, anyway. They protect the money of the rich people and they serve the rich people. And that is it. If you are a poor person, you are for profit. These hospitals abuse the fuck out of you for profit. I had to deal with a lot of abuse across the United States. Police refusing to do their jobs, refusing to investigate. And I recorded a bunch of that. The parts that I could, I did. But it's been well over a year. I've been attempting to get Arapahoe County public pretenders to do their goddamn job and send the evidence from my case. They haven't done so. This whole time, they knew that I was trying to bring a case against them, against their whole office. But they're friends with the judge, they're friends with the prosecutors, they're friends with these people. They are friends with these people. They're not going to do their jobs, and they don't have to. They don't have to do their jobs, but you do have to pay them. You do pay your taxes. And these people take your taxes. for things that don't work. A public pretender doesn't work. Then we've got people like Darren O'Connor. Fuck Darren O'Connor. He's a piece of shit. I used to believe him. I used to believe in him. I used to believe that he cared about the homeless. But he proved that he doesn't. There's a group called Boulder Rights Watch where people are allowed to speak out about the abuses that they go through in Boulder County. My abuse was at the hands of the Boulder Police Department, same as many of these other people. But it was also at the hands of Darren O'Connor. When good men do nothing, that is evil enough. The thing is, I'm not living in the past. I am living in the present. I am living with no money, no support. I don't know Rihanna's boyfriend. If I go to Wyoming to stay with her and her boyfriend, if they break up, where do I go? I don't have an income. I cannot work. I'm overwhelmed too easily now. Meanwhile, people who pretended to love me proved that they don't. I already knew my dad didn't love me. He never has. The reason he wanted custody of me and my older brother is so that he could get free money. Free money because I was disabled. Because Eric's disabled. He's got scoliosis. Dad cares about money. He didn't care about what I was going through. He wanted to outright lie to me. Now, my conversation with Aunt Mary, that conversation proves that, yeah, my dad went to prison in Rawlins, Wyoming, like I said he did, for cocaine, like I said he did. Now, she said that it was only one count of cocaine. She said it was around an ounce of cocaine that my dad had. She said he also got in trouble for marijuana, but there were 8 counts, 8 different charges that he had. I shouldn't have to record these people and post it up in public. I shouldn't. I never should have had to do that. I should have been able to go to the police and not get abused. The police across the entire United States did everything that they could not to take a police report from me. The police did everything that they could to separate me from evidence, to make sure that evidence wasn't shown in court. And the public pretenders helped them. And the judges helped them. When you are homeless, you don't fucking matter. The only way for you to get an honest day in court is for people to come forward, to go in with you, literally go into the courtroom with you. Meanwhile, it doesn't matter how much evidence I have if no one will look at it. The sheer quantity of evidence that I posted on my Facebook that proves that I didn't stalk Natalie Bollinger, that proves that after she called me a stalker, I was just trying to get her to call off the dogs. I was never allowed to face my accusers in court because the police had as much invested in preventing me from speaking. And the public pretenders had just as much invested in preventing me from speaking as the Bollinger family did. I can post up all the fucking evidence in the world, and you guys pretend it doesn't exist. I can show you everything, and you'll pretend it doesn't exist, or I manufactured it, or I made it up, or I photoshopped it. These people all should have come forward. I recorded their calls, and maybe it's illegal, maybe it's not. But the fact is, I shouldn't have had to record their phone calls. I recorded those phone calls because these people never came forward while I was being abused, and still am. Just because I love you doesn't mean that you didn't do me wrong. Literally, what I want right now is someone to blow my head off. That is all that I want right now. Because I know that Miss Peaches is never going to be honest. Candace Bondurant is never going to be honest. Laura Nelson is never going to come forward. My mother doesn't care. My father doesn't care. On the bright side, I recorded Miss Peaches so I can prove she's full of shit. I recorded Tabitha Michelle Cook so I can prove that she's full of shit. Why did I record these people? Because they weren't keeping their word. They did such fucked up shit to me and wasted my resources. Yes, they wasted my resources. I needed help. I invested what little resources I had into the places where people offered to help how I needed. Instead, I got victimized at every place that I went. I was victimized for being autistic. I was victimized for asking for help. I shouldn't have had to beg for help. Jen Beebe, she hasn't called me back in over a week. I saw her in the jail there in Wyoming, or in Scotts Bluff, just before Christmas. I can't go to see her. And she's telling me in order for her to help me, I have to fill out some paperwork. And her boss was going to come see me so I could fill out that paperwork, and he never showed up. The medical community, when they see a poor person, it's about profit. The doctors were not there for any of it. The doctors didn't give a shit. It's people who are not medical professionals in each of those places. Now, I don't just tell the stories, I save the evidence. Without someone to go in with me, nobody's going to look at that fucking evidence. The general public hated me over slander, and they did everything that they could to prevent me from being able to communicate with my loved ones. And then when I'm frustrated, these people who I love very much want to treat me like I'm a piece of shit because I'm frustrated. Bitch, I have been cut off from talking to you. And you're treating me like shit for it. I'm asking you for help. Screaming at me is not help. Telling me to do things that I can't do is not help. Assuming like a fucking idiot is not help. You need to find out what the fuck is going on. That requires shutting the fuck up. Assisted suicide should be legal.